Right, so I'm just leaving the sauna and I will give you a quick example of how and why people get away with, figuratively speaking, murder. Right, so I think I explained why I ended up getting to the sauna and the pool at the time I did this morning, because the carer turned up and I wasn't expecting her. But when I got there, I went to take my rucksack, my gym bag, off my back, and I hadn't placed it on my back, so I didn't have my towel, my underwear, or my flip-flops. So it was one of those days where I was going to have to improvise. So by way of improvising, I used my vest top to dry myself, and then I proceeded to the sauna with all my bits and pieces in order to dry the top quickly. And I don't like walking on foreign floors, so I used the shower nearby by the sauna, put 2 plastic bags on my feet, and went into the sauna to then dry off. Put my shoes inside the plastic bag and then onto my feet so that I didn't so I followed the rules basically, because you're not supposed to wear shoes from the outside inside. So it was a one-off, things happen. Anyway, so I'm minding my own business and there's an old woman in there with whom I clash. Now, people who know me know that I don't like women, but occasionally 1 or 2 might slip through the net, or several, If I want to generalize, I will say I don't like women. I don't mix with them. My worst nightmare would be a girls' night out with a bunch of silly women. Right, so that's sorry, I'm just trying to cross the road. So that's me. That's my position. Don't like silly women. So anyway, this woman, I've clashed with her before. She's just one of these. She's 80 years old, African, and looking to find fault. So I suspected. I even said, there was one of the ladies. She's all right. I see her from time to time. Early in the morning, she was getting ready to leave. So I said to her that I was going to go into the sauna and hope there would be nobody there, in order so I can protect my modesty and all of that. So I was very modest. I improvised. And while I was in the process of, I don't dry my feet, I use bicarbonate of soda. I have lovely feet, so there is method in my madness. So anyway, so I was all right with the bicarbonate of soda, so I didn't need to dry my feet, because the bicarbonate of soda will dry on my feet anyway, so I didn't need the towel for that. But cutting a very long story short, give me a moment, I'm gonna get on this bus, 1 second. Hello, give me a moment please. One second. That was my pass.
466.
Hold on, come on. Give me a second. Darn it, where is it? It is somewhere at the bottom of my bag, I'm sure. Here we are.
You must wear a face covering over your nose and mouth at all times.
Thank you.
When using TfL's services and stations, unless you are exempt. It's there to protect us all.
Right, did you hear the announcement? I tend to disregard. Right, so now I'm sitting comfortably. Let me tell you my tale. So anyway, knowing human nature as well as I do, and knowing what people are inclined to do in certain situations. I mean, had she not been in the sauna, nobody else would have said anything, but it had to be her, because she's that kind of woman. So if you're in a changing room, there's not much space in there for everybody to put their stuff. She will, well, I don't know if she's done it to anybody else, but she's certainly done it to me. Was sort of like, oh, is that all your stuff? Can you move it? And this and that and the other. Even though it's nothing to do with her. So somebody might want to use the space, even though there's nobody in there at that time. It's just us and or maybe one other person. She has to make that comment. So so I don't get kicked off YouTube. All I will say is that I usually tell people that I'm not nice. My default setting is nice, but I'm not nice. So therefore I avoid people rather than people avoiding me. I tend to avoid them. So anyway, so that was that. So then I went back into the changing room, and the woman I was talking to was still in there, and a couple of others. So I mentioned what happened in there, which I predicted. I said, maybe, to avoid, not necessarily to avoid offending people or anything. I talked about protecting my modesty and so forth, but jokingly. But then, like I said, this woman was in there, so I mentioned that, what she said and all of that, even though it wasn't causing any harm, even though it was a one-off. It's not like it's something that I do or that anybody does on a regular. It's a one-off, and one has to improvise. Otherwise, I'm gonna go home in my wet bikini. If it be the case that I didn't have an opportunity to dry off properly or whatever. It's just, just me improvising anyway. So cutting a very long story short, which is the point that I make. It's not that what I've just said is just so the build up to it. There was another woman. She came with her friend. A friend invited her, and she was trying to pacify me, because even the thing with me, even though I speak my mind, it doesn't mean I'm upset. I'm not at all upset. I'm just saying. So for example, she, I let her talk because it's not so much that. All right, I would say that when I'm in a situation with a person and they're saying something that I find interesting, that is useful for material, which is why I'm making this video now, I will let them continue talking. I will let them continue the action. I'll let them do whatever they're doing, if you like, for research purposes, for the sake of material. So it was fascinating. I don't know this woman from anywhere, and her whole thing was to try and get me to calm down. It's like she's saying everybody's different, everybody's got different personalities, we're all different, take no notice, ignore, this kind of talk. Now, I don't know, perhaps there are people who have bought into the narrative, who wear a mask, who take their vaccines, who've had all the boosters. Perhaps there are people watching this, so you won't get where I'm coming from. But I'm sitting on a bus now, and I've never worn a mask, and yet I've been able to do everything. I've been able to go to shops, I've been able to travel. I mean, at one point I would walk. When they first started with the thing, you must wear a mask on a bus, I would walk, because it's their bus, it's their rules, and I'm kind of like that. So if the shop said to me, you can't come in unless you're wearing a mask, I'd say, no problem, your shop, your rules. I'm that kind of person. I'm not going to put on a mask just so I can go in the shop, or just so I can get on the bus. I'll walk. So but I've never had anybody sort of come to me and say, where's your mask, you need to do this, you need to do that, or you hear people talk about these kind of confrontations that they have, because when I go out with my energy, right? So, and people would think, what do you mean about go out with your energy? It was like when my sister was in the hospital. I went to see her 8 weeks. She was in hospital, and I saw her every day apart from 2 days. One day I was sick, one day she was having surgery, and I never wore a mask, right? So for me, I'm very principled, in a sense that I will go to my grave with my principles wrapped tightly around my neck. But people say principles can't fill your belly, so forth and whatever. But you know what? There's no price peace of mind. There's no price being able to walk freely in this world. And the one thing that I will never do is allow idiots to dictate to me. So I make a point normally of not going to the gym at a certain time in the day when these types of people, these types of women are there. But it worked out how it worked out. They had an aqua aerobics class. 1 second. Yeah, they had an aqua aerobics class, so I needed to get in the pool and out by a certain time. So that's how comes we happen to be there at the same time. But anyway, so the lesson is, I mean, I get pumped up when I have to deal with idiots. It doesn't, you know, like Clint Eastwood said in Dirty Harry, make my day. It actually makes my day. One moment. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Yeah, like, you know, like Dirty Harry. When people play the idiot with me, and I kick off at them, I don't kick off in an aggressive kind of way. I use my energy and I use language, but I don't swear. I only swear when I'm writing the words. But I don't use bad language. So it's just the way you speak to people, they know their place. So, but like I said, if you got somebody who is trying to always calm down the situation when there's not a situation that needs calming down, this is why you end up with a society where certain types overrun it, because people say be the bigger person, which I think is a sign of cowardice anyway. Be the bigger person, ignore them, and they let them do what the heck they want. I don't do that. If somebody needs pulling up, I will pull them up. But like I said, it was more about, it's not so much about the stupid woman, because I mean, she's always going to be stupid, even at her age at 80. If she's stupid, if she's managed to get to 80 and she's stupid, she's going to die stupid. So that's neither here nor there. But it's more the fact that people would, if you like, allow the one who's in the wrong to get away with it because they don't like conflict. I'm afraid there are certain times in life when you have to get into conflict situations in order to keep the peace and in order to have your freedom. And that's why I say when people are going and protesting about their freedom, begging the government to give them back their freedom, I don't feel inclined to do that. In fact, I think by going and protesting for your freedom, you are telling them that you are a slave. Something that I'm not, personally. So, that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna wind up because I'm coming up to the front door. So you guys, not sure what you're gonna take away from that. But that was my little experience and all because I neglected to take my gym bag. So there you go. Take care, look after yourselves. Bye bye.